Alright. We're in the finals, starting off with Jagannatha as the first set, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of this huge map. Playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Cure.
And yes, we are in the finals. This is going to be a best of 7. And here we go. Here at the top right corner of the map is the red Terran player. He's playing fully clothed this time around. It is BYUN.
Was he feeling cold or anything?
Yeah, you know, it's getting towards the winter months, so it's getting a little bit cold here, but oh, things are about to heat up very, very soon as Kier is throwing down a 2 racks open. He's going to open up this series with a bang.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to see. This kind of Cure, best Cure, and how BYUN is just gonna go past it by like this inch. This SCV will not catch the proxy going on. On the other hand, BYUN has also been going for a double Rex back home, so he's probably gonna have the defenses he needs. Let's see if Cure manages to deal enough damage. It's gonna be all up to Micro between these two players. And what Micro players we have in this finals, guys.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be great.
I feel like you can make a case that BYUN is the one of the best, if not the best, Micro Terran players out there. And
well, that's Maru.
Oh yeah, that's Maru too.
Let's
of course.
be honest.
Yeah, you can make a case for either, but it's so good for BYUN to be able to open up with 2 racks against 2 racks, because that is going to give him such a great defensive advantage here. And remember, if BYUN somehow overwhelms Kier, Kier's going to have to lift off his barracks back all the way to the home, which means he's not going to have a lot of production.
Let's talk about that Micro, Snoopy, because this was crazy from BYUN. Getting those SCV on top of the ramp, getting the fight 1 Reaper against 2 Reapers and winning that fight, almost killing both. And now look at this. It is BYUN who's actually getting out of his main base to deal with Cure's Reaper, not the opposite. Like, there's gonna be just a 1 Reaper advantage for most of the game, so Cure needs to take a great engagement. He's not able to get those Reaper. He's gonna get a couple SCVs. Another Reapers are coming back. One of the Reaper falls for both players, and now it's Cure on the back foot. Both players losing exactly the same amount of Reapers. 1 SCV gone down for BYUN, but let's see this. BYUN is still escaping with his Reapers, still trying to do its best to keep them alive, to get a significantly better engagement, but this is not the case. Cure finally gets the upper hand, finally gets 2 in a row without losing his own Reaper, and that advantage could easily snowball.
Yeah, when you're playing against the same build, every unit counts, and now it's getting to a point where it might actually snowball to the point where BYUN is looking to be in very, very dire situation right now.
Yeah, once again, Cure gets even more damage without losing anything back home. He's gonna be dropping down a command center.
Oh, wow.
Actually.
Wow.
Feeling very, very strong about his position. Gonna drop down that Cyclone for defense, and I feel like as soon as Yellen was done, Cure knew that this build wasn't about to deal any more significant damage. The Hellion is still a little bit too much, but right now this engagement is still gonna be great for Cure in the end. Finally, another Hellion goes out and kills the remaining Reapers, but not before 5 SCVs have gone down. BYUN wants to strike on the other side of the map, but there's 1 Cyclone out, and another one is gonna be out in just a second. Cyclones are kind of great at dealing with the Reapers and Aliens. Oh my, Cure is gonna land that. Cure is making a Marine out of the Rex.
Oh man, there's a lot of low life SCV, so I am actually not mad at that. Now, yeah, BYUN realized that he's gonna go ahead and start repairing his SCVs. Oh man, that's quite funny.
That is the best possible game 1 we could get. I have to say, we couldn't ever hope to get a better game 1 out of this series. Cure is kind of ahead, quite a lot. Like, being ahead 7 workers in a mirror matchup is a lot. Way more than you think it is, especially with a command center being already done for Cure, actually an orbital command being already done for Cure, while BYUN still needs to start this. So this is one of those advantages that can snowball so much, with Cyclones being out, the first few tanks getting done by Cure way quicker than BYUN. Cure is gonna advance to the mid game with a huge advantage.
Yeah, but we all know the game of TVT. Doesn't matter really how much ahead you are. It really comes down to the engagements. We've seen Terran players have like a 20-30 army supply, and then just one bad engagement, and all that changes. So it really going to come down to the micro during those engagements. And you know what? Still, I think BYUN can still, pull even or at least ahead, a little bit ahead.
Radio Fur Command Center being done by Cure. His economy is just going all over the place at this stage, sending these Rex to scout back again. Just gonna get full information at every single moment out of what BYUN has in the current time. While back home, he definitely has some more. The Marine advantage is still gonna be something important once the first few upgrades are gonna be made, especially combo shields. It's gonna be the most important one to survive the tank shots. But in the end, Cure is gonna be having the tank advantage, he's gonna be having the Raven advantage and the energy advantage. He's gonna be having 2 Cyclones to snipe down key units. And BYUN doesn't really have the same economy of his opponent in the way that he cannot really afford to have an even army.
Oh man, this is medevac drop is gonna get sniped off. Oh no, that was a sick interference matrix. Wasn't able to land his marines and units down there, so those medevacs would have been pretty much dead along with all the units inside. What a clutch interference matrix. That was sick.
That was brutal. Like, that was very brutal. BYUN tapping out of this game as soon as he saw that interference matrix go down. Cyclone getting the lock on. Yeah, brutal game 1 for BYUN. Cure. Amazing start of this series. Just every single piece of his build order was going right where he wanted it. And getting that advantageous trade of those 2 Reapers falling for BYUN and no Reaper falling for Cure just kind of did the trick. Which is like, it's kind of funny to think that just losing 2 units, tier 1 units such as Reapers, can snowball to such a huge advantage, but that's exactly what happened. Cure got so much damage, and now he's heading into game 2 with a very clean advantage. And talking about him, leading the series 1-0 and dealing severe psychological damage to his opponent is the blue Terran player representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It is Cure.
Still rocking that happy star on this command center there. But anyhow, here at the top right corner of the map, he's the red Terran player. Not only is he playing fully clothed, but also has a glove on one of his hands. Give it up for BYUN.
Left or right?
Probably right side. Yeah, I think.
Oh, the one holding the mouse. Oh.
Yeah.
Wants to have those worm fingers. the quicker clicking.
Well, Michael Jackson used to wear the glove on his right side, right?
I think so. Yes.
I'm assuming BYUN is a right-hander, or maybe
Are you
he's
assuming BYUN is the Michael Jackson of StarCraft 2?
possibly. I mean, or maybe he's just a Michael Jackson fan. He want to wear that glove like MJ. Who knows?
Right, nothing too crazy this time. With an Oxide, much shorter, I think can snowball quicker. Players don't want to take their chances too much. And it looks like both of them are just going for that Reaper expand. Just gonna get the units they need to get some scouting information and to get some defense early on. I was saying it is interesting because most of the times in TVT you see one player sending the Reaper out and the other player keeping it back home, and then both players were sending the Reaper out and then both players kind of retreated back home with the Reaper on the ramp, and now they're just completely on the blind about anything happening on the other side.
Yeah, so I guess, you know, you just want to check out if there's any like little proxies out here, you know, just like compared to the first game. But yeah, no proxy this time around. Both players are going to go ahead and just play a normal 1-1-1 opening here. Now this could definitely deviate to a variety of different paths, so we shall see what these players go for. Maybe they go for the same build, who knows, but it could definitely deviate to a bunch of different tech paths. It could be a Banshee opening, it could be a Raven opening, it could be a bunch of Hellions, it could be a bunch of, well, actually, you know what, BYUN's getting a tech lab compared to Cure going for the reactor on the factory, so already we see a little bit of a difference between the two builds.
Yeah, it's gonna be Hellions against Marines for now. Cure getting quicker Hellions while BYUN is getting quicker Marines. Cure looks to be the aggressor, apparently, while BYUN wants to wait a little while before he has enough stuff. Overall, BYUN playing the more traditional style of TVT, which doesn't really surprises me. Getting the good amount of Marines to just get those steam, get the clean kills on those key units. While BYUN while Cure, sorry, as the more specialized army, is getting a Liberator, he's getting more Hellions, and he's actually also getting a tech lab next to the starport to be making probably, even if there are later Ravens compared to the one of BYUN, it's probably gonna get a little bit more because BYUN needs Medivac for those Marines.
Yeah. Alright, we see the Liberator heading to the right side. Now the Cyclone, one of the great things about opening with Cyclone is that it could pretty much deal with a lot of different harassment in the early game, and definitely could deal with the Liberator. But look at here in the natural here, nice little Marine block does slow down the Hellion from going up, and the tank will be there in time. And at the same time, the Cyclone does clean up the Liberator, suffers only 2 SCV damages.
That was the cleanest defense that BYUN could possibly hope for. And right now, I feel like he's getting into a good stage in this game, because having those earlier Marines means that he can transition into that tank plus Marines army a little bit quicker. Having the Medivacs to have those drops at the ready for him to start dealing damage of his own while having a stronger army back home, having maybe even quicker upgrades compared to his opponent. Like Steam is halfway through for him while it is just started for Cure. Like, this chess game that TVT is, like, let's imagine like BYUN has already got a little bit more pounds than his opponent.
Yeah, there is going to be that timing where BYUN can take advantage of the fact that he does have the stem while his opponent doesn't. And oh, look at that, he knows it. He is getting ready to attack. Now we do see that Kier does get an eye on this, but because of all the army being headed across the map, there's actually nothing here in the natural. Okay, the tank does pop out. We'll be able to at least clean up these Hellions before they actually get a few SV kills. But the real damage, I think, is going to be when BYUN drops into the main base of Kier. Can he defend against that without stim momentarily?
Gonna be a tough one. That's the dude drop we were waiting for. Not many Marines, but it's 2 tanks already. The Cyclones and the tanks needs to make their way, and Steam is under attack. Steam is gonna be denied. Will it though? Oh, yes it will. The SCV just stands there watching the tech lab burn down to ashes. And now BYUN clearly has the upper end into the next few stages of the game, sending more tanks through the map, sending his own Cyclone, sending everything. And now the auto turrets are also sniping down the tanks out of Cure. This is looking like one of those games for Cure, because BYUN is all over the place. He's on top of production. These two tanks are still getting damage. The Marines cannot steam on top of them. They can still get the kill. But in the main of BYUN, Cure, so many SCVs are falling to Ravens, Marines, and Cyclones alike. The Medivacs are not gonna bother saving the Cyclone for some reason, but 20 kills right now. 20. And BYUN back home still has a stronger army compared to Cure.
Oh man, that was so good. Like you see the difference between having stim and not having stim. Also, really nicely done abusing the low ground and the high ground there by BYUN. Was able to kind of float away some of his medevacs and army into the dirt base there. And now here, without stim, without dirt base, what really can he do? I mean, he does have a slight army supply, but it's pretty much even. Upgrades is even as well. It's going to be a tough uphill battle here for Cure.
Definitely not looking good for the blue Terran player. But as we were saying before, like, this matchup is a very volatile matchup. It's all mirror matchup goes, really. But, oh my god, this command center. If he gets this command center, it is over. Alright. Yeah. I feel like Cure could even tap out. I don't really feel like he's gonna get this command center. There's a lot of bio over here on the side of BYUN back home. And he's still dealing damage through the map on the other side. It looks like the command center will indeed survive. Tankcha getting good shots on top of the Marines. BYUN gifting a little bit too many units of his own. And Cure has established quite a position over there. Losing 10 SCVs, not gonna really slowing down too much. He's still gonna be so much ahead in workers. But he's not losing the third command center, and that's the most important thing of all, really.
Yeah, that was not the cleanest defense there by BYUN, losing 13 SCV. He still got some rallies over to that third base. He finally corrects it here, but that it kind of gives a little bit of wiggle room here for Cure.
He also has his air advantage that's going to be so important with the Vikings. One tank is left there by BYUN just to die, really. Meanwhile, Cure is looking to go for his finishing blow, for his striking maneuver, losing so many SCVs, it looks like. 15, 17 and counting, and now the army of Cure is actually steaming into the natural. BYUN doesn't really have as much as Cure right now. The blue Terran player made all the units for so long. The high ground is really helping for BYUN, but this engagement is not really looking the way that BYUN wanted it to go. 29, 30 workers falling on the other side of the map. BYUN is dealing significant damage. 20 more workers down the same. Cure needs to end the game right here, right now. But Defender's advantage is finally kicking in for the red Terran player. Still no third for Cure. He's making 7 Marines at a time, but he has no tank left here in the natural of BYUN. Just one on the map. He's gonna be sending the rest of his army through. And BYUN needs to take another defense to get this victory.
All of a sudden, this become quite a chaotic game here. It looks like BYUN is going to go ahead and try to snipe off some of these reinforcements. But right now, Cure is still pretty ahead in the army supply count. Oh, even taking down that third command center of BYUN.
And the Medivac.
Yeah. Oh, man. This has turned out to be quite a weird, interesting game here.
So many Marines out for Cure, and that is so curious considering that Cure didn't have Steam for so long. BYUN started making those Marines so much quicker than his opponent, as well as Medivacs. BYUN probably way too concerned about dealing economical damage to actually build up a strong defense back home. He's now pinned in his natural without the prowess he needs to deal with these many Marines. He needs a lot of tanks to deal with that. Tanks need to be sieged up just at the right spot. This is going to be a bloodbath. So many Marines are gonna fall left and right. Let's see who takes the upper end, or Cure doesn't really want to commit yet. Oh, he needs to though. He can't wait any longer, or this game will not go on his side at all. One of the tanks actually falls for Cure. Those are very important units. Cure doesn't really want to steam. Well, doesn't even get steam, actually. But BYUN really cannot move out of his natural at all.
Yeah, right now, BYUN needs to buy as much time as possible. He does have his +1 or +3 upgrade on the way, so if he can buy enough time, and oh, nice liberated, siege up here into the main base. We'll get some few additional SCVs now. Here cannot afford to lose any more SCVs. He's down by 14 SCVs right now. So again, BYUN just needs to buy some time, build up his army so it can pretty much be even. And it looks like, yeah, it's pretty much even. And then you combine that with the +3 attack, and also, is that +2 armor? Yeah, +2 armor. It's going to be a really great upgrade lead for BYUN. And I think, yeah, he should be able to move out pretty soon by then.
I feel like this game is already over, to be honest. Like 38 workers to 80 to 14. And now the army supply is getting finally even. And BYUN has such better upgrades compared to his opponent. Steam and combat shields started at a 13-minute mark. I don't know how I feel about this, but just look at this Marines fight. Like, BYUN had probably half the Marines that Cure had over here, and you still won this fight. And it doesn't really have +2, +3 yet. Look at this though. This main army of BYUN is just insanely better than the one of Cure. And this fight can go nowhere but his side. BYUN will tie up the score. And this was a very interesting game number 2. Making a statement.
It was so weird. Yeah, but yeah, it could have gone either way at certain points of the game. But I think what really sealed it was that that attack that BYUN did, the first big attack, getting the stim, taking out the tech lab with the stim, and then also taking down I think like 17 SCVs during that engagement. But yeah, that was pretty impressive that Cure was able to kind of make a game out of it. It looked like he was able to possibly overwhelm BYUN. He was knocking at the front door and the natural. He had the higher army supply. Upgrades were even at that point, I think. And it just BYUN was just able to kind of buy himself enough time to hold on. And then after that, he pretty much pulled ahead from that point forward.
Yeah, it was a clean follow-up. I'd say not a clean start of the game for BYUN, but as soon as he actually got the upper end in those fights, he was very convinced and decisive about what to do. It was looking like almost like he was throwing that game, to be honest. Almost looking like he was getting bad engagements, just being in his base with a big of an advantage. But he said, no, I'm just gonna get my upgrades, and then I'm just gonna straight up win the game and just have too much economy for my opponent to actually bother. Cure slowing down all of his upgrades so much, the 13-minute steam and combat shield, and it kind of wasn't enough. But this is a whole new game, and the series has basically reset right now. It's gonna be 1-1 the score on this best of 7. Spawning in the top right hand corner of Pillars of Gold is the Blue Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It is Cure.
And spawning here at the bottom left is the Red Terran player, playing on Pillars of Gold despite the fact that there is no gold mineral patches in this map. One of the great Sherlock Holmes mysteries to be unsolved. It is BYUN.
Is he now playing with 2 gloves?
Yeah, I think after that win last game, he has leveled up to 2 gloves now.
Indeed. Alright, what do we have? Why is BYUN not taking his gas?
It looks like he is going for a 1 base expand here. Oh, okay.
Danger. Danger ping coming on his side.
Yeah, it's a little bit dangerous to go for this, but I mean, it's definitely possible to hold on, but
with the cyclone, yes.
Yeah. And also this base does have the high ground ramp area at the natural, so it makes it a little bit easier. It makes it a little bit harder for Cure to kind of push up the ramp.
I like the Double Reaper Hellion opener a little bit more in this matchup. I feel like it's kind of the same point I make for like PvT where you open Blink instead of going for like Stargate or early Robo and stuff such as that, because you need some kind of backbone to your army to just transition into a more economical stage of the game. And the same can be said for PvT in the way you need a couple of Reapers and a bunch of Aliens to gain map control and have the defenses you need. Even though BYUN can still get a Cyclone out and get some clean defense, Cure is gonna be having quite the significant advantage, I feel like, in the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, now BYUN did snipe off the first Reaper from Cure. That's a good start.
Yeah, that's a
so
good
that's
start.
gonna at least slow down the push a little bit. But it's really gonna come down to what he goes for from the starport, it seems. I think it looks like he's wanting to go for a Banshee opening. I'm not sure, maybe a Raven opening, but that does at least somewhat slow down him a little bit in terms of having the army advantage.
There was also a good move out by Cure, getting the Reaper into the main of BYUN, but this Alien was able to get past as soon as it was needed. And this is a little move, micro move, in which BYUN surrounded his very hurt SCV and repaired it before he could be sniped down. So once again, BYUN's micro is gonna help him a lot in this earlier game stage, getting that quite of a significant macro advantage, I'd say. Easy to snowball.
Alright, so we see that the first Hellions, or not Hellions, Cyclones are coming out for both of these players. And yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and give a slight edge here for BYUN, just because he hasn't really suffered too much damage, and he did go for the earlier command center. We did see that the orbital just finished for Kier. So, I mean, it's not usually like crazy, but we do see that there is a slight worker lead here for BYUN, and that comes from the fact that he did go for the earlier CC.
Both players trying to go for a drop in the main of their opponent, and BYUN is gonna be the one having a little bit more stuff back home to defend with. But both players don't really look like they can get much done. Let's see if Cure actually manages to sneak past, get these Marines right into the main of BYUN without him noticing. There's also a tank over here. Oh, that's gonna be some crazy good shots from the tank. He's gonna get so many SCVs. That's a big mistake on the side of BYUN. And on the other side of the map, his own Medivac wasn't quite able to do anything. Not a drop was not a single unit was dropped into the main of Cure. And now even losing that, I still feel like Cure's workers advantage is gonna pay off.
Well, that certainly was a good clump of SCVs. Now, the unfortunate thing was that the Cyclone was locked onto a Marine instead of the tank itself.
Yeah.
And then besides that, you know, clumping up all the SCVs into that, you know, between that mineral line, that was really, really bad. I think he would have been probably better just to kind of split some of his SCVs to attack and then like get the rest out of there to retreat. But anyhow, it looks like BYUN is going to go ahead and go for attack. He does have a interference matrix here on that Raven. And oh, actually nice positioning here. Nice position drop.
Yeah, BYUN is gonna be scaring stuff off with the Raven over there. Maybe Cure needs to drop an interference matrix on that Raven and then just go past it. It's gonna be a lock-on instead. 2 Ravens out for Cure, but the damage has been dealt in a way by BYUN. On the other side of the map, there's a little bit of a drop by Cure, getting so many SCVs, to be honest. 18 of them are gonna fall down. BYUN doesn't really look like he's finding enough damage to justify his move out. 27 workers to 40. It looks like this game is basically the opposite of the game before.
Yeah, looking like Cure is having his hands on the throat of BYUN right now. You got 2 Ravens compared to the 1 of BYUN. Getting so much SCV kills. Let's see, how many total SCV kills throughout this game? 27 kills here for Cure. And then while on the other side, we only have 10. So very, very much in favor of Cure. And he is not done yet. He is going for another drop here. This time around, there's going to be a tank to help defend. But doesn't want to go ahead and do friendly fire damage on those SCVs.
This tank is dealing probably more damage to its own SCVs than it dealt to the Marines of Cure, and That was kind of a tragic way to end the lives of 3 SCVs more on the side of BYUN. Still has quite a sizable army. It's still gonna be up to Micro in the end. But here clearly has the upper hand. 49 workers to 32. That's a huge advantage. He's only missing his key upgrades right now. And now that Steam is gonna be done for BYUN, BYUN is gonna be having a little bit of a window of timing to do damage before Steam +1 and +1 infantry armor and infantry weapons are gonna be done for Cure. That is gonna be probably the game ending stage. There's a little bit of an auto turret harassment coming from Cure, from BYUN, sorry. Gonna get 4 SCVs, but then again, he's gonna lose the Raven.
Just like a auto turret fest here, as both players just throwing down a bunch of auto turrets, trying to get as much damage done. But yeah, Stim is halfway done here. Oh, does catch a BYUN does catch a traveling flying Raven there. So nice little pick off.
Gonna even the score, but Cure made 1 more Raven compared to BYUN. So in the end, still not gonna be worth to lose that Raven for just 4 SCVs. And Cure still has his own try and drop down the debuffs he needs to win the fight.
Alright, seems like the game has finally slowed down and both players can breathe a little bit sigh of relief, but there's still a little bit of a somewhat of a contain here. Not full contain, it's not right in front of the natural, but I guess it's somewhat.
Yeah, BYUN is also taking this good chance to start getting a little bit of a bigger economy compared to his opponent. He has less workers, yes, but he has 1 more mining base. Finally, Cure is going to be transferring his orbital command to the fur base location, but he needs to move out with his army, and he's going to be facing down 4 tanks, which are already sieged down. BYUN will take an advantageous engagement over here, for sure. Let's see if Cure manages to move out just as soon as +1/+1 finishes, because that could be pretty much huge for the outcome of this fight. Orbital Command is under fire right now by those Marines. Oh, he's going down very, very fast. He's going down too fast, and he's going down, burning to the ground. Cure is gonna try to strike back with a double medivac drop of his own. But this looks still like a very good trade for BYUN. Even losing those 5 SCVs won't gonna... Oh, yeah, losing these many SCVs is gonna hurt way more. 18, 20, alright. BYUN, the most unclean defense ever. It's gonna clear both the medivacs and all of the Marines. But right now, Interference Matrix is going on top of 3 of the 4 tanks of BYUN. The rest of the army of Cure comes clashing down, and BYUN finds himself so behind heading into the mid-game. Orbital Command needs to be remade by Cure. That is gonna hurt, yes. But this engagement is gonna hurt BYUN way more. Every single unit is in an advantage for Cure.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is that Cure has 7 tanks out on the field compared to only 2 of BYUN. This is going to be really ugly. Now, if BYUN can somehow manage to hold, then he is up a base. He can pretty much, pull ahead, but the big question is if he can hold on. That is going to be a tough call here, as there are more tanks inching forward little by little.
Alright, Viking advantage is in favor of BYUN, which is going to be very useful at trying to clean out those tanks, but there's still 1 Raven out for the blue Terran. This is a little bit of a... I don't even know how to call it, a stalemate maybe, between the 2 players, just not really managing to do anything significant. Viking advantage on one side is gonna be forcing Cure to stay back, while tank advantage on the other is gonna be forcing BYUN to not take any trade out of his air advantage. Oh, this is a rough spot for both players, and very hard to break defensive position for both of them.
Yeah, now Cure has actually caught up on the worker count, as he's kind of really contained the SCV transfer between the natural into the third base. We do see also Cure has a kind of a second group of army here on the top side, looking to possibly flank or actually catch any counterattacks. That could be actually pretty good if he can, you know, kind of catch this little army out here in the middle.
+2/+2 is interesting enough going to finish sooner for BYUN. While BYUN is moving out with a bunch of Marines, Cure's tanks are all stacked on the other side of the map without much defenses for them at all. BYUN really has a much weaker army right now, but this team forward is still gonna start to do something. That's a huge anti-missile, anti-armor missile, but this army of BYUN will still be able to retreat without taking any significant losses. Meanwhile, 3 SCVs have fallen down for Cure, but the main thing is that this Liberator for BYUN has been forcing tanks behind and behind the more time goes, and now Cure needs to do something significant of his own because he's kind of slowly getting traded away by his opponent.
Oh, we might actually have a huge engagement here out in the middle. These Marines got caught out in the middle of nowhere. And now these nice little pick off here by Cure. Overall supply is pretty even. So, but the thing is that I think the upgrade is actually a little bit in favor or a little bit ahead for BYUN, maybe?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
BYUN already has +1 vehicle weapons. And he's getting +3/+3 way quicker. Actually, Cure is not taking +3 infantry armor, which only matters in Marines versus Marines fight, but there are gonna be a lot of them in the near future. Oh, BYUN is looking very good right now. Getting back from a very awful scenario. Right now getting a lot of killed SCVs, getting the Raven, which is the most important thing. This anti-armor missile is gonna be working hugely in favor of Cure in these main engagements, but the army of BYUN is still a lot stronger than one of Cure at this stage. Losing these SCVs, these Marines, is gonna be hurting BYUN a little bit, but her losing those SCVs is gonna be hurting Cure way more. That was a critical amount in a critical stage of the game. 54 workers for BYUN, and he's now gonna get his own 4th base, and Cure really needs to do something. Really needs to deal some damage, but BYUN has the upper hand with this army engagement, has air advantage, and and he has one more tank.
Alright, now BYUN pretty much has 3-3 versus the 2-2 of Cure. So right now you can take advantage of a head-to-head engagement. And I'm looking at the kind of the bird's eye view of these two armies, and I feel like BYUN does have a bit more compared to Cure.
These Vikings are gonna be coming clutch, as well as the Liberators. Cure cannot get anywhere close. This is looking brutal for the Blue Terran. BYUN getting back into a game that was looking very much on Cure's side, very much Cure's advantage. It looks like Cure wants to really dive on top of his command center. He's gonna get the kill, but at what cost? So much of his army is falling down, and now the Vikings are actually trying to snipe down the Medivacs. Meanwhile, a huge amount of Marines is steaming right at the third of Cure, getting the kill. There are way less Marines on the side of Cure in a defensive stance here on the upper ground, but BYUN will take the victory. Cure tapping out, losing too much to his opponent, and BYUN cleaner execution of the mid game grants him a very good victory here. Very significant psychological victory as well.
And that was pretty much a great solid macro game by both players. It just seems that BYUN was able to kind of get the better end of the engagements. It did look scary once during that fight where he was like flying into Cure's base at the end with while on the retreat, because there was a bunch of turrets there as well as a lot of Marines to greet him, but somehow, some way, he actually managed to get some good, nice, efficient values trades from that. And after that, it was really up to Cure to kind of force the hand. But BYUN just had so much. He had the Liberators to zone out the tanks. He had a bunch of tanks to kind of at least force a stalemate. And yeah, he just had so much Marines to go across the map and do significant damage. He was like, he lost the SCVs on his side. He's like, you know what? I lost not SCV, command center. He's like, I lost a command center on my side. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and go across the map and get a command center of my own.
The ability to split his army in two was definitely coming clutch into the game. BYUN macroing just a tad bit better than his opponent. Clenching the victory mirror matchup can be brutal, but the series is not even halfway through, guys, because we're going right now into game number 4. Unlike Shade, spawning in the top left hand corner of the map as the teal terrain this time. Playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it is Cure.
And now spawning here at the bottom right corner of the map. He's got his clothes on, he's got his gloves on, both gloves on both hands. And now he's also gotten a suit on for this game. Let's give it up for BYUN.
Cure wants to shake up things. He wants to play faster this time. He worked out in the first game. Maybe will work this time as well. Gonna go for a proxy Rex. I think it's gonna be just one. Don't think it's gonna be more than one. But he can really net some early advantages. Maybe sneak a little bit of a one game for free, let's call it. I doubt it will be going up to that much, but even just getting some damage with that early Reaper is probably gonna be worth.
Alright, first Reapers coming out here for both players. I'm wondering if BYUN might think that there's a little bit fishy timing with that SCV heading into the base to scout. Might want to go ahead and just like stay his Reaper at home, but it's gonna go ahead and send it out actually.
Yeah, she's sounding like the worst possible idea he could ever have with this Reaper out of Reapers, I should say, out of Cure ramping up in numbers. Meanwhile, back home, Cure can just really deal with this with a Hellion that is soon to be made, but the Lady Put is down. Means this SCV is gonna fall. Cure is not really striking with his own Reapers. He's sending them back home and they need to walk all the distance to do that. Trying to get the Reaper on top of these SCVs to save them is gonna work out for Cure. But in the end, he's gonna lose 2 SCVs to get one. Gonna get this Reaper as well, yes. But he has been feeling quite slow down in the end. Magnified Accelerator for the Cyclone out of Cure. And he's been looking to be the offensive player over here, the aggressive player. He's not even taking the command center while BYUN is halfway through past this. Oh, this is gonna be close.
Huh. This is a pretty interesting build here coming out of Cure. I don't think you see this a lot in TBT, but
we used to see these a lot earlier once they changed the Cyclone. People didn't really know how to deal with it, but it has become less and less popular the more we have been past the last 2 years, I feel. Was it 2 years? I think it's 2.
seems like it. Sounds about right.
This is gonna fly into the main of BYUN, get some scouting information, but this Cyclone doesn't really have Magnified Accelerator yet. He cannot really get too much done. He's not gonna get anything done actually, aside from some scouting information. But more Cyclones are gonna be made. A couple aliens are probably gonna be made as well. Is this going to be some kind of Battle style, or is he just going to make the 3 Cyclones and be done with it? Oh, one of the Cyclones actually almost falling down to Reapers and aliens alike. The other one has to flee away. And meanwhile, there's a bunch of Reapers into the main of BYUN, getting some SCV lives and sacrificing their own for the bigger cause. 5 SCVs gone down for BYUN, but it doesn't really look like Cure is getting enough damage to justify such an aggressive build.
Well, we do see 700 minerals lost on the red Terran side compared to the 450 of Kier. So, I mean, although Kier does lose a bit more gas, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit even draw here, but either way, Kier is going to go ahead and get his early third command center, while BYUN is just still trying to flee off this little burning barracks, which should be falling pretty soon. We'll try to zoom in on that when that happens, because we all love burning buildings for some reason.
No SCV near there. These wrecks, these are doomed. Imagine the little pilot there flying these wrecks, writing his last few memories. The elf points, blue wrecks going down. Cyclones trying to avenge it. But I get one tank with the lock-on. Weak with magnified accelerator. Magnetized accelerator, sorry. Yeah, the wrecks falling even deeper. 20 elf, 10 elf, another lock-on goes on the wrecks. He's gone.
Meanwhile, we do see that the Raven from BYUN is going to go ahead and try to get some SCV kills with these auto turrets. So far, actually pretty decent amount of worker kills, actually.
That's way too many, actually. 7 SCV killed. Did the Banshee die? Oh yes, the Banshee out of Cure was killed by a lock-on that were Raven to grant vision of it. So Banshee died instantly without actually doing anything.
Oh wow.
BYUN is so ahead. I still have some troubles justifying the kind of build that Cure decided to go for. BYUN just playing it safe. He's now gonna force a cancel out of this orbital command, and probably also almost gonna get the kill on top of this. Lock-on is still on cooldown, but he could get a lock-on on top of this command center and get very good kill. These two Cyclones are everything that stands between BYUN and winning this game, but the lock-on is gonna be cancelled by BYUN. With this many Marines threatening their lives, the two tanks are not gonna be enough, it looks like. There's a Banshee out somewhere on the map, but nowhere. Alright, he's heading right into the natural of BYUN. There's a missile turret over there. While the two main armies are trying to clash upon each other, a bunch of Marines are gonna fall. And it's gonna be like the most worth engagement for BYUN, but he's gonna be sending both the Raven in the natural, dropping down those other turrets and getting 6 more SCVs killed. Looks like the Banshee wasn't able to do anything. Once more, Cyclone able to get another kill on the Banshee, and Cure just doesn't have enough. BYUN, that's game number 4, and is right now in match point. That was a bad game.
That was just a great timing, by the way. Yeah, I think it really comes down to the micro, as it seems, because there's a lot of sorry, I just got your webcam up there. All right, yeah, it just seemed like it really comes down like these past few games has really come down to like the early game, how both players are microing, how many losses they suffer, or how well does they defend. So yeah, it looks like BYUN is getting the better end of those. And right now, yeah, like you said, he is up 3-1 and is 1 game away from clinching this series. This is a best of 7, so first player to 4 wins will win the first place prize. Yeah, so yeah, I think BYUN is smelling blood in the water here.
Oh, definitely. He's been playing so much better in these last 3 games. Always, even when he's behind, he's always managing to find a way to sneak back into the game, get some interesting trades, getting STV killed left and right. While on the other hand, Cure just trying to do something way too fancy sometimes, trying not to play the standard, trying to do weird stuff, not really being paid off for it. This kind of build, this game was looking a little bit like a blast from the past, but didn't really manage to do much. His Reapers didn't really get much more than those 5 SCV killed, while every single thing that BYUN tried to do on Cure side of the map just kind of worked. Every single kind of harassment, every single trade, it just worked. That was it.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we're gonna take a few minutes break. I'm not sure if we want to actually go to a break or not, or we want to keep talking or anything. But what do you think?
Oh, it's definitely your call. Maybe giving some shoutouts to our sponsors.
All right. Cynical Death. Can we buy a webcam for Snoopy? That is funny. You don't need to, by the way. Okay, let's see here. Looks like we're actually.
Maybe the players are ready. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, yeah. Looks like the players are ready. So I guess that wasn't quite the few minutes break that you knew was going for. All right, so yeah, the score is 3-1, guys. Make sure before this, because we might actually have the last game, this upcoming game here. Before we do so, I want to go ahead and point you once again. I'm going to sound like a broken record. There is a Matcherino page for this event, guys. This is a great tool. Matcherino is such a great tool for the esports community. All you have to do is just head on over to the Matcherino link, sign in with your Google, your Twitch, your Blizzard, whatever account that is that you want to sign up with or sign in with, and enter the coupon code AX205, and then that will contribute 50 cents for free. You don't need to pay out of your pocket. It helps contribute for free to the overall prize pool. If we get enough people to do so, that 50 cents could add up to like almost, I think 25 is the limit right now. And then if you also want to help support, there are sponsor quests on the right side that you can do to contribute more additional free money to the prize pool. And then if that is not enough, if you want to go ahead and be extra more generous, or if you want to go ahead and purchase the replay packs for yourself, you can do so in the marketplace. The replays will be made available soon after the stream is over. So head on over there and check Matcherino out, guys.
It looks like Cure is not ready yet. BYUN was eager, of course, to play this fifth game of the series, being 3-1 in score. On the other hand, Cure needs to win 3 in a row, needs to collect his thoughts a little bit. And I mean, I'm not too sure what Cure needs to do to have the better of BYUN this time, because it's easy to say just micro better than your opponents, but it feels like his build orders are kind of missing something. It feels like BYUN has been just a little bit sharper than him on every single point.
Yeah. Cynical Death saying, could he be more handsome than my co-countryman Akon? Nope. Akon is more handsome out of us two, for sure. He can be a supermodel in his part-time job if he wanted to be. Maybe I could be described as a bit more cuter, as I think people describe dogs and puppies a bit more in the cuter sense than the handsome sense. But yeah, I'll leave it up to your imagination, Cynical Death.
Alright, it looks like we're ready to go. At last, Cure has come back, collected his thoughts. I'm eager to see him play a little bit better in this fifth game compared to the last one. Should be easy, to be honest. His last game was a little bit of a disaster. But of course, also thanks to BYUN playing a very amazing series, to be honest. Let's see if BYUN will get this quick and clean victory, or if his opponent will make him sweat for it, or even clench the series on his own. Let's see that here on Submarine, spotting in the bottom right hand corner, sending an SCV out immediately, is the blue Terran player, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming in its 3 in a row. Makes a noise for Cure.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map, He's got his pants on. He's got his suits on. He's got his gloves on. And now he's got his tie on. Can he win this series and close it out? Give it up for BYUN.
The tie is gonna be making such a difference for this game. Already can feel it.
I feel like it gives you, I think, like 100 extra APM or something.
Yeah, the more clothes he's been putting on himself, the stronger he's becoming.
Exactly. It's kind of like the Mandalorian, you know? The more Beskar he gets and more Beskar armor, the more stronger he is. Alright.
Can Cure put an end to BYUN's streak, winning 3 games in a row without really breaking a sweat, I'd say. Really clean victory. At least the last 2 games were really clean victories. And making the best out of bad scenarios as well. And now Cure is gonna go ahead and proxy again. But this time, that's a different kind of proxy.
Yeah.
It's a committed kind of proxy. That's concussive shells. Ooh.
I actually like this. I mean, last game, you know, with the proxy racks, I was actually gonna say maybe so, but I did not think so because he had the racks positioned in a way that he wouldn't be able to build the tech lab. This time around, he's actually built it to a in a way where you're able to kind of throw down the tech lab easily. But look at this. BYUN is gonna scout this. Oh wow, that is gonna be huge scout there. Immediately cancel the CC, throwing down the bunker, and he's gonna hunker up.
All you need to win against this is to hunker up. Getting those Marines into the bunker gonna make it very hard for the Marauders to actually do stuff. And look at this. BYUN already sending SCVs, ready to repair stuff, ready to stop these Marauders from getting significant damage. Meanwhile, the Reaper is going through the map. He wants to stop Cure on its tracks. And this is looking great already for BYUN. Cure will lift up the Rex just with 2 Marauders and concussive shells being done, and he will be done with it. He's gonna be so much slower into the transition in the mid game than his opponent. This supply dip, he's gonna fall down. BYUN is gonna graciously take this loss. But how much more can Cure take? I feel like very, very little.
Alright, game 2 supply depot. I think, wait, did he cancel? No, he did not cancel the concussive shells. Did go for it.
Oh, BYUN is getting Banshee Cloak. Once again, danger signs on Cure's side. And with the Cyclone being made by the blue Terran player, it looks like the Banshees shouldn't have an easy time dealing damage. But BYUN is certainly heading into the next stage of the game a little bit cleaner than his opponent. At least as far as production goes. And that is probably the most important thing. Like, he's gonna be having 1 more, actually 2 more add-ons than his opponent at this stage. His command center is gonna be basically done at the same time as the one of BYUN. Of Cure, sorry. And with Banshee Cloak, BYUN is also gonna have some interesting, aggressive timing.
Oh, looks like here is going to get all the anti-Banshee technology though. He's got the tech lab on the starport. Gonna probably go for the Raven, and then also throwing down the engineering bay for a better measure. So I don't think these this. Oh wait, actually no, BYUN not going for Banshee. Oh wait, what? No, never mind. It's the other way around. Looks like Kier's going for the Banshee. BYUN actually going just for the Raven.
Oh, he has 1 Banshee.
Oh, he does.
Did
Oh,
he cancel Cloak?
Wait.
He did cancel Cloak.
Ah, okay. Maybe he got scouted or something.
Yeah, the Rex was flying over the Banshees being made. So BYUN decides against taking Cloak as well. He still has a Banshee out. You can still do something with it. Maybe catch a couple SCVs. Yeah, he will get a 1. Of course, not gonna pay off, but he can really afford it. It's not gonna be anything too significant. Maybe he can fly in once more to catch something out of position. Maybe will not. Now the Cyclone will get a lock on. Yeah. BYUN, he's just gonna sacrifice his Banshee to get one more S.
Yeah, so it doesn't really get too much done. Let's see if Kier's Banshee can get a bit more done on the other side of the map. But both players just going to go ahead and just kind of macro up, kind of get their second base natural up and running, and possibly see a third pretty soon.
Yeah, looks like Kier is already going for that, while BYUN is already has an orbiter command, which is kind of interestingly ahead compared to his opponent. But that's not gonna be the most important thing. I feel like the most important thing is definitely going to be the lack of add-ons in the earlier stage for Cure, which is going to mean that BYUN is gonna be having steam so much quicker than his opponent. Gonna be adding down more wrecks quicker than his opponent as well. Actually, no, that was quicker on Cure side, but the key upgrades are what matters the most.
All right, looks like
things can go wrong on Submarine so fast.
Yeah,
Players really not trying to play off their hand too.
Submarine is one of those maps where, I mean, because it's so small, like players tend to just like go for more of a aggressive playstyle. They could send their whole army across the map very, very quickly, and yeah, things get a little bit ugly or chaotic at the very least, very, very soon and very, very quick.
I mean, Cure is going for the fast 5 racks, maybe to balance the fact that he didn't have the add-ons early on to just get those upgrades quicker. On the other hand, his production is gonna be kind of skyrocketing after this, a little bit quicker. He's getting his infantry upgrades as well a little bit quicker. I feel like BYUN has a little bit of a wind of timing which he can strike. But after such a shaky beginning of the game out of Cure, I feel like the game is basically standardized so far. And the Banshee is finally getting some damage. It's gonna be a total of 4 SCVs before falling down. But that's still 4 SCVs. Like, it's nothing to... not too shabby. Let's go with that.
We do see that BYUN finally starts 1-1. I only think he remembers that because of the Banshee flying over the engineering bay. He's like, oh wait, those engineering bay not moving or jiggling. Gonna go ahead and finally start it, but Cure is already halfway done with his upgrade. So, I mean, if Cure does go ahead and go for a attack before BYUN gets that 1-1, that could actually be pretty advantageous for him.
So Cure losing a little bit of map control, losing one of the Cyclones. He had middle of the map. Oh, who's gonna lock on first? Well, BYUN is gonna lock on first. Goodbye, Cyclone. And that's full map control for BYUN all of a sudden. And a 10 supply that it's all in arm. Doing that, getting the map control. It looks like BYUN is ready to move out. He has quite a big army right now. He has one more tank than his opponent. He has 2 Ravens. That Viking advantage on the side of Cure is gonna be so pivotal in his ult against the army of the Red Terran. Let's see what he can do. Vikings fighting on each other. Interference matrix is being dropped left and right, and it looks like in the end, Cure is gonna take a great trade with his opponent. Game is still very slow. Both players so afraid to make one wrong move, and it looks like BYUN is not gonna commit.
I like how the people in the chat discussing about Star Wars, but we're playing a game of StarCraft here, and both players trying to find some, well, at least BYUN is trying to find some opening around here to get some damage done. His 1-1 finally finished. He's starting to get 2-2, but again, look at Cure's production. He's already halfway done with 2-2. So once again, Cure is staying ahead in the upgrade, and BYUN is gonna go ahead and try to exploit some opening somehow. But look at that sensor tower; it's pretty much covered the left side, he probably could throw down another one at the top side to cover that end to make sure he doesn't get dropped. But the Vikings are parked there, so if BYUN does decide to go for a drop, the Vikings will be in position to take it out.
Yeah, BYUN really isn't managing to find a weak point in the defenses of Cure. Cure decided to play a more careful game compared to the ones he played before. And this is gonna be way more interesting than all the games we've seen so far in this series, I feel. This is where true TVT players shine, where the best TVT players can show their worth. These chess-like maneuvers, just like surgeons, right? Just getting the right amount of inches there past the tank siege line so they can get those spot shots and get a little bit of a quicker advantage while those Vikings are dancing around Marines and Ravens alike. And Cure, right now, is winning that dance. +2/+2 upgrade. He's gonna finish way quicker. He's gonna start off his upgrade. He's gonna try to go for a counterattack and probably get a command center as well. That's a very important kill on the side of Cure. And he's still gonna be ahead in army supply. Not by a ton, but still gonna be ahead.
Yeah, that was a really great pickup there by Cure. Does lose a few Marines and 2 medevacs, but slowing down the economy just a tad as he established his own fourth. And yeah, looks like +2/2 is finally about being done for BYUN. But once again, Cure going for that 3-3 off the bat. But look like BYUN is finally being able to exploit some opening here, some weakness. Does get those 2 tanks and will shut down this third base.
Oh, that's a huge fight. These Ravens are not doing much. They actually fall down without doing anything, while Cure is able to drop down an anti-armor missile. 14 SCP, 15 SCP, so many SCPs are falling for Cure. BYUN takes a significantly better engagement, but he's gonna lose all of his air control to pay for that. Now he needs those Marines to steam forward to get on top of the tanks. It is not gonna go great after this. BYUN needs to recollect himself, get enough Vikings, and do stuff with it. Because right now, it's not really looking to break through without air control. Look at these Vikings getting air vision to the tanks of BYUN. Cure stays there. He doesn't need to move any further. It took a lot of loss, but is now pretty much safe. And BYUN needs to kind of back off. He wants to strike over here in the top right. And he's starting to look a little bit like Cure is being outmaneuvered.
Yeah, I think BYUN is kind of really being a bit more active and more mobile with his army. And that has kind of really paid off for BYUN. You can see right now he's ahead by 10 workers. He's got his the dirt base of Cure still contained, so he can't really mine from it. You see that command center is flowing all the way to the top right side in order to start mining a 4th base. But there's no sensor
now
tap.
BYUN has air control. He has more Vikings. He has more Ravens. He's gonna bring out a huge fight. These Ravens are not doing anything for BYUN. BYUN used those Ravens, dropping down dropping down auto turrets. Now there are 2 Liberators out for Cure. They're not gonna do much because he has no Vikings to defend those Liberators. And BYUN takes another good trade. While Cure wants to strike over here, but that's quite possibly the worst possible spot he could possibly go in. There are a bunch of tanks out. He scans forward to catch those. Now there are tanks on the high ground for Cure. BYUN is gonna lose a bunch of his own tanks just without getting much. Here comes an interference matrix that will help him get one of the tanks, but Cure is looking to go for Liberators into the natural and the main.
Yeah, looks like BYUN does spot that immediately. Will be able to take that down relatively soon, although he does suffer a few SCVs, but again, he can afford to do so as he did, put some hurt and delay on Cure's economy. But now it looks like Cure is making his way through the middle here, looking to get on top of the natural.
Meanwhile, BYUN's contain is gonna be broken. That's gonna be a bloodbath on both sides of these 2 armies. Anti-missile turret is gonna go down. Anti-armor missile, sorry. Is gonna go down on top of the army of Cure, but in the end, both players are gonna lose up so much of their own. Cure doesn't have any more Marines. BYUN is 2 ahead. Gonna call the GG, losing 15 SCVs back home as well. And call it a bloodbath, but BYUN wins the 4th game of the series and is your champion.